Alright, so let's go ahead and give a quick run through on how to do the installation of Ubuntu. If you are using the little thumb drive or a CD and it booted up, boom, here you are at the installation window. So what you're going to do is select your language of choice, which I have selected English, and then click install Ubuntu. Alright, it's going to say you need at least 6.5 gig connection to the internet. You can click off this box to do the updates while it's doing the installation. You don't really have to do it, but I'm going to leave it unchecked. Hit continue. Alright, from here it's going to erase your entire disk and load Ubuntu. You can also do an encryption. I choose not to do the encryption, I just want to erase the disk and do the installation. Okay, and it's telling you here's how the partition is going to be made. You're going to have one SATA drive, it's going to be SDA, and then you're going to have partition 1, which is going to be called SDA1, which is going to be formatted to use ext4, and then you're going to have an SDA5, which is why this is called partition number 5, and it's going to be your swap space. There's a real reason for having the swap space, is that your swap space is used for like a scratch disk on your computer. So when you, let's say, have 2 gigs of RAM, you should have at least 2 gigs of swap space. If you run out of the 2 gigs of memory, you have the scratch disk, and it lets your computer run a little bit more stable. A lot of people, as far as new age system administrators who haven't been using Linux for as long as I have, they don't use swap space because they go, oh, that's an extra 16 gigs I could be using for file storage. Yeah, but when you start running some really process intensive programs, you're going to want to have that swap space, because once you run out of memory, your entire server is going to start bogging down, it's going to start crashing, and it's going to destroy Linux stability. That's one of the things that Linux has over other operating systems, is having that swap space, so that when you run out of that memory, that local memory, you can, boom, fall right into the swap space and have that stability. Go ahead and hit continue. From there, you want to select your region. I'm going to select New York. And then you want to select your keyboard. Perfect. Now put in your username. And then you put in your password. Now here's your computer name. As you see, it says virtual machine. I can't log in to a live version of the installation. So the installation that's going on to an actual computer, I can't really log in and do screen captures like this, which is why I'm using a virtual machine to do the capture, so you can actually see all the windows. That's why it says virtual machine. But normally it should say your name and the model of computer. So it might say ZBox42, it might say like Dell Inspiron, whatever it is. That's what normally comes on behind it. You put in your name. You can make your username anything you want. Make sure you put in your password. Now, it says it's a weak password, but you can still use it. Now, later on in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to turn automatic logging on. So you go ahead and you can just leave this off. And I just normally save that for the end to show you if you want to use automatic login. But by default, you shouldn't turn it on if you don't plan on using it. Hit continue. And that's it. This will run for about, I'd say about 15-20 minutes, and then it's going to ask you to reboot. Once it reboots, take the CD out or take the thumb drive out of the USB drive, and you should be good to go. But there you guys go, quick little video on how to do the installation of Ubuntu.